Hi everyone, my name's Carly and I'm a digital artist drawing on the iPad with Procreate. In this video, I'll be talking about how to get started offering art commissions. This is focused to requests like portraits of families, couples or pets. I'll go over how you can get set up as a beginner, ways to market yourself and find work, setting up pricing, communicating with clients, and then I'll share the entire process that I've used when working with a customer. For this video, I'm sharing the process of a drawing I did on Procreate, so you can enjoy watching the process and listening to me talk, or you can just put me on in the background whilst you do something else. So first, what is an art commission? This is when a person wants to hire an artist to create a piece of artwork for them. Commissions were actually how I first started making money from art, and it can be a great option to start with. So how do you actually get started? First off, you don't actually have to be amazing at drawing to get work in. Skills in drawing will always be growing and evolving as you continue your journey, and I don't think you'll ever feel like you're ready to start offering commissions, so you just need to start. As long as you can draw a semi-decent portrait of a person or an animal, then just start offering your services. You have nothing to lose and you might actually be surprised who would be interested. I began my journey in 2019 and I got my first portrait commission in September of that year. And my first one wasn't very good. I'd only been using Procreate for about 2 months at this point. So never doubt your skills and ability to do great things. Improving your art skills does take time, passion and dedication. So how do you go about getting art commissions? You'll want to keep sharing your art online and building an engaging audience of people. For me, it took about 1.5 years for regular commissions to start coming in. I got my first commission through my Etsy shop, and at that point, my shop was hardly being noticed. The girl said that she actually typed in art commissions onto Etsy search and mine popped up. I then had all my other requests through Instagram. So I think social media is a great way for people to see your work and want to reach out for commissions. Just be sure to have an easy way to contact you. Maybe include an email in your bio section and say that you're open to commissions. Say where people can find your information or like where they can book you in. People won't automatically know this is an option, so by writing it clearly can lead more people to contact you. I joined a place called Upwork when I first started out, which is where you can find freelance jobs. This was where I got my first children's book commission, but I soon found it to be a bit unreliable and very low paid website. There was quite a bit of competition and you do have to pay for these credits so that you can apply to actual jobs that are listed. It was okay at the start of my journey, but in the end I decided it wasn't for me. A few other places that I've heard you can find commissions are DeviantArt, Reddit and Craigslist. I'm not sure how effective these sites are though, as I've not tried them myself, but leave a comment below if you've used any and if you recommend them or if you don't. So maybe we can all look down in the comments and it can help anyone watching. I have joined 1 or 2 Facebook groups as well, which are targeted to art commissions, but to be honest, I rarely go on them anyway, because I don't even use Facebook really, and I also forget I even join these groups. I join too many. So how much should you actually charge for art commissions? You can either charge a flat rate or charge by the hour. Sometimes with drawing though, it's hard to calculate exactly how much time you spend on one piece. Like if 2 people did the same drawing and there's one person who drew really fast and the other one who's slower, if you charge by the hour, then the person who is the faster drawer would get paid less. So I would first figure out the average time it could take you, like for the level of detail that you include, and make sure that you are charging at least the minimum wage per hour for what it is in your country. Each commission should be a personalised price depending what the customer is after. You can always share a starting price and then add on extras like depending what the customer needs, such as like how many people they want illustrated, or are they adding pets, any backgrounds, do they want text added, etc. Then you can use this information to work out the total price. Another thing with pricing is that you need to calculate in any extra materials that you use. This is more for if you're doing like traditional art. And if you are sending out final artwork in the post, then calculate in the shipping costs as well. Also think about any extra fees like taxes or transaction fees when taking payment. Never underestimate yourself as an artist. Make sure you're getting a decent pay for your time and skills. And don't rush into just giving someone a final quote. Ensure that you've got all the details that you need first. When you're ready to get started, you'll need to take a payment. So there are ways you can do this, like using PayPal, Payoneer, or Stripe, for example. I've used PayPal myself, and you can actually send invoices on there, which I liked because I would duplicate the previous invoice every time I have a new client and then just change the details for the new client. Then all of my invoices were listed together, so it's easy for me to keep on track. I also included commission guidelines in the invoice just to clarify everything. So like the types of files that I'm sending, how long the commission will take, the process to expect. And then at the very bottom, I would write that by paying this invoice, you are agreeing to all of the above. For personal portraits, I wouldn't bother with contracts, but just listing out some guidelines is good enough for me. Let's talk about the process now of doing an art commission. So everyone will have a different process for completing commissions, but I thought I'd walk you through the steps I've done mine just in case it helps you figure out a system for yourself. So for personal commissions, once the client has reached out to you and then they have agreed to go ahead with the project, I would start first by sending the invoice to their email. With PayPal invoices that I've used, there would be an option to type the person's email in and then just click send invoice, so it's pretty easy. They would either then pay in full or make a split payment. For the split payment, I would take half upfront before starting the project and then the rest once the client has approved the sketches. You could also take the rest of the payment before you send over the final images if you prefer that way, but never send any images before you've received the full payment. But once payment is complete, then I will start by doing a rough sketch for the client, and sometimes I will add a colour sample on the same page as the sketch, and sometimes I would add like a variation of like 2 or 3 sketches if I had a couple of ideas, and then that way they can choose like which one they like best. I will then send the sketch to the client in a low-res file so they can check everything over, and at this stage the client might have a few changes that they request. That's another thing you need to make sure that you have in your guidelines, how many rounds of changes the client can have. If you don't state this, then you could be stuck doing like 100 changes and never get into the final decision. This is actually what happened to me back at the start. I definitely learned from that mistake, but because I never stated how many changes there would be for the client was forever changing her mind, reverting back to the original and then changing her mind again. And I remember the client was never completely happy. Even when I sent the final coloured images, she wanted changes again. It was a little bit frustrating, that commission, but I had never actually set any proper guidelines for myself or the customer. So you will learn things as you go, so don't worry if it all feels a little bit overwhelming to start. You might not get everything right at first, but you'll know for next time what to do differently. So once the customer is happy with the rough sketch, I'll then do final rendering with colour. Make sure you do finalise the drawing on a larger canvas with a high DPI. I recommend 300 DPI. That stands for dots per inch, by the way, and this will ensure a high quality image. One time I forgot to change the canvas size when I was already halfway through colour. I think it's because I was using the dry ink brush though, and I just didn't notice the low quality. I just thought it was the textured brush, but it was only too late that I realised, and I had to start the whole thing again. So that was my lesson learned, so always double check the canvas size. So after all that, I send the finished files over to the client's email once the image is completed, and that is basically it for my process. So for requests like children's books or illustrations used for someone's business, I would also send a contract to the email as well, and would make sure to get that back signed and the invoice paid before starting the project. There's no right or wrong time to start offering commissions, just start when you feel ready. I didn't think I was ready for my first commission, but because someone reached out, it kind of forced me just to say yes and do it anyway. I mean, they obviously liked my work enough to reach out, even if I didn't feel good enough yet. So once you do one, it will start to get easier. So I hope this video was helpful, and good luck starting your first art commissions. They are a good way to start making money as an artist, but not always the most reliable, as I've definitely learned along the way. You can't always guarantee people will want to book a commission in, So I would still look for other ways to earn money as well. There are a lot of ways to build an income as an artist, which I did share in a video once. So I'll link that above and below this video in case you want to check that out next. Thank you for watching this video today. I hope you found some useful tips from it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this and check out the description for more links. I'll see you next time. Bye!